You are Locked On Wolves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
T-Wolves, they don't make it look easy, but they do get the job done tonight despite no Anthony Edwards. He left at the 3.5-minute mark after a hamstring injury. We'll get into that. But 114-110, that's your final over the Pacers. Wolves moved to 2-1 on the year. What's happening back in the lab? Back at it, another T-Wolves postcast right here. If you're new here, thanks for joining your one-stop shop for the Timberwolves instant reaction deep dive after every single game. He's Jack Broman, Wolves expert, NBA expert. Give him a follow on X at JRBorman13. I'm Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. You got to follow Ben Beacon too, host of the Locked On Timberwolves show each and every day. Find all the audio wherever you find your podcast and all the video on the Locked On Wolves YouTube channel as well. Lots to get into, Jack. Biggest turning point tonight. Plus Rudy Gobert's rock solid night as well in the paint and game MVP. And again, we'll touch on Ant's hamstring injury a little bit later on too. But, just off the top, like we always do, it's actually funny. Our guy Sam Ekstrom texted me probably midway through the fourth and said, Wolves have never, ever, ever covered a double-digit spread at home against a team on a load management night. Don't look it up, but it's true. We'll get our stat boy to find out if that's accurate or not. But either way, it definitely feels like that sometimes with this team, making what's supposed to be kind of an easy day at the office turn into a nail biter. They hold on, they get the job done. But, big picture, 60-second view, knee-jerk reaction. What's like the number one thing that stuck out the most in Game 3? A home opener, again, versus a banged-up Pacers team on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah, I think it's just got to be that the Timberwolves defense showed a little bit more bite, as Chris Finch said pregame was what he was looking for from this team. So I think for the Wolves to show more bite, we'll get into it a little later, like how they did that. But and then obviously Bones Hyland continued to play pretty decent basketball. Filled a lot of Ant's first half minutes. Mike started the second half. Also meant more for Jalen Clark, who was really good and a really important part of the Timberwolves defense, having a really nice second half. And again, just more big opportunities for Donte DiVincenzo to become that kind of secondary perimeter scorer for the Wolves that he role he comfortably played while he was in New York, and I promise you he can do it as you saw for stretches tonight. So that was great to see, and then good to see the Wolves big men take it home. 20 of the 28 points in the fourth quarter between Naz, Julius, and Rudy all contributed kind of in their own ways. And then obviously just really fun for home opener. We can get into a few new things they had here at the arena, but obviously those trees look great on TV, as did the new floor.
Let's get into the biggest turning point from tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit trickier than most nights because this one, again, surprisingly came down to the absolute wire, which kind of no one expected. But, nonetheless, biggest turning point from your lens tonight. When was it and why?
Yeah, it was about the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. Donte DiVincenzo, I thought, completely turned the energy of this game around. He had a really nice layup in kind of that two-man dribble handoff game with Julius Randle, and then had Tony Bradley on the perimeter. And that's a mismatch. I mean, Donte very well could have, dribbled a few times and took a step back through or something like that, but instead attacked him, got to the rim for free throws. A couple of possessions later, banged home a huge late clock three as the shot clock expired. And then on the very next possession, walled up Quentin Jackson to, which resulted in a Bones Hyland pick six going the other way for a layup. And the crowd was just totally all the way back into it from that point onward. And I think that DiVincenzo run coincided with some really good defense from the Timberwolves. And I think that stretch from there on in was just, I think, highlighted what was different tonight about the Wolves defense from the first couple games. And I think, again, the Pacers in that third quarter, they were just completely out of rhythm. They shot 5 of 22, 23% from the floor, just 2 of 12 from 2 in that third quarter. I thought the Wolves did a much better job tonight of running three-point shooters off the line. Maybe not so much in the fourth quarter, but in that third quarter they did. And then it forced a lot of ball handlers to try to take on Rudy Gobert at the rim, and they didn't want to do that. So instead they opted to take a lot of short mid-range little floaters or jump shots, and on those shots, they were just 1 of 7 in that quarter. And I think, honestly, those types of shots produce the most amount of runouts the other way, even more
Mhm.
so than 3-point shots, because guys are so far down, because short mid-range shots can create offensive rebounding opportunities. But the Timberwolves did a great job rebounding. They only allowed one offensive rebound in that third quarter, and that allowed them to really get flying up the court the other way and pushing off stops. And I thought Dante DiVincenzo, those are the areas in which he thrives, right? Whether he's pushing it as a ball handler, can make decisions, make those good hit ahead passes, or be a guy that, that can feed off of it, right? He's a really good transition 3-point jump shooter, and then obviously can attack off the catch and finish inside. But yeah, I also thought Jalen Clark deserves a shout out for what he did in that third quarter. He really frustrated Pascal Siakam, got him to, kind of caught Pascal in the act of trying to draw a foul, and did not foul in either of those situations, and just made it uncomfortable for him. I think for Jalen to be a guy who was asked to guard Austin Reeves, and I thought did a good job on Austin Reeves against the Lakers on Friday, now come in and guard a completely different type of player who's a lot bigger than him in Pascal Siakam, and do a really respectable job, I think just is a hat tip to him and how versatile of a defender he is. So for the Wolves to win that third quarter 28-17, take a 9-point lead into the fourth, and they ended up needing all 9 of those points. I think, Dante started it, but Jalen Clark, his individual defense, and then what Rudy Gobert was able to do inside, defending so many, contesting so many shots, was tremendous.
I don't want to chew up too much of our time, but how encouraged are you by Jalen Clark? Just in his role coming off the Wolves bench specifically, but from a college kid to the NBA now after a couple of years, just the timing, the rhythm, the chemistry, the whole thing, the speed, the tempo. Only 3 games, small sample, but man, tonight was, again, like you said, was a showcase of his defensive skills again.
Yeah, and I think on the offensive end of the floor too, he understands what his role is, right? He's not going to try to do too much. I think maybe on the first possession, tried to do a little too much with a little floater that he had. But, it was a guy that can make catch and shoot 3-point shots on corners, and then also does a good job corner crashing, hitting the offensive glass, and cutting too is another thing this Wolves team needs, and he's willing to do that. So for Jalen Clark, I mean, any night that you have Jalen Clark out there playing great defense, and he's also able to provide you with, what do you have tonight? 6 points. That's great. They'll certainly take that anytime they can get it.
Yeah, 6 points, especially if you had the over-under at 4.5 tonight. Absolutely. Let's get to our player of the game tonight as well.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Probably don't need to spend too much time on this one. I think I know which way you're going, but let's do it anyways. Who was the Wolves MVP tonight, Jack? Who and why?
Yeah, it was very close for me, but I'm going to go with Julius Randle just because I think that part of being a really big-time player in the NBA is being able to produce for your team when the other team's on a huge run. Because, I mean, in the NBA, we see it all the time, how things can just pendulum swing back and forth all the time. And being able to stop the bleeding is really important. And Randle did that, right? So Ant goes down. Randle made his first 5 jump shots of the game. Made a right slot 3 and then made 2 kind of step back turnaround jumpers from each elbow in that first quarter. And then, they were playing more, delay type offense, pistol, Chicago type actions, trying to lift Terrence Shannon Jr. out of the corner with Randle kind of running the show at the top of the key. Wasn't really working. So he decided to just go in the post and really played tremendous basketball from down in the post, bully ball for 2 scores, had 5 free throw attempts in kind of a 3-4 minute span there. Really was frustrating Nesmith and Siakam. And then picked it back up again in the fourth quarter, right? Siakam cut the lead to 4. Julius comes back right away with an and one. Those are the types of plays that I think you really need to keep the crowd in it. And then again, anytime Aaron Nesmith was matched up on him one-on-one, Julius did a really good job of aggressively getting downhill, attacking the rim. And then whenever they brought doubles when Nesmith was guarding him, I thought that he handled those pretty well and did a great job creating for his teammates. He had a really nice cross-court pass to Dante DiVincenzo from the right block to the left slot for a 3 in the midst of him getting in the second quarter, kind of playing bully ball. And then again, had that step back Jay after a timeout, after a Nesmith 3 in the fourth. And then again, had a huge jump off to Rudy Gobert, who very, very well equally could have been our player of the game tonight. But it's got to go to Julius Randle for what he did, pouring in 31 points, 6 assists. Again, I think he led the team in assists tonight for what I believe is either the third straight game or second of these first 3 games. So great night for Julius in the absence of Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, well said there. Julius factor coming up huge so far. Small sample, but again, through these first 3 games. Plenty more deep dive, including Anthony Edwards' injury ripple effect, right? Plus Rudy Gobert's great game. Got to touch on that a little bit more. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Monarch Money. Ever look at your bank account and go, where'd my money go? Dining out, online shopping, entertainment, so easy to lose track. Well, that's where Monarch Money comes in. It's not just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and instead you start building a little wealth. I know when I started using Monarch Money, I realized how much money I was spending on streaming services, right? HBO Max, Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu, Disney Plus, you name it, I had it. But now I budget smarter. I save more than ever. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your entire first year. This episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. It's without a doubt the most fun I have playing daily fantasy because you can win up to 25 times your money this NBA season. And why I love it, it's so easy to play. All you got to do, you select 2 or more players, you pick more or less on any projected stats that given night. Plus, Prize Picks now offers Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Right now, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code LockedOnNBA at prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. You're getting a 100% bonus match up to $100. Last but certainly not least, this episode is also brought to you by Built. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you gotta, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built's changing the game by turning your rent into rewards you can actually use. When you pay rent through Built, you're in flexible points that can be redeemed toward hundreds of hotels, airlines, future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, you name it, they got it. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the link so they know we sent you. All right, Jack, before we get into what we'll be talking about, just some quick hitters. I got 3 guys. You kind of already touched on one of them, but 3 guys I just want to kind of rapid fire through. Rudy Gobert, super solid game, as you kind of mentioned. Naz Reid finally gets in a little bit of action tonight. That was great to see from him. And then, DDV, who you also touched on the top, but DDV, season high in points, looked just much more comfortable, much more in a rhythm offensively. Take it any order you want. Just give me that 1, 2, 3 on that trio there.
Yeah, we'll start with Rudy. 14 points, 19 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Just tremendous work from him to I think, just impact the game at every level on both ends of the floor. That third quarter especially was tremendous. Had 7 points and 8 rebounds in that period alone. But he was locked in. He had 3 rebounds and an assist in the first couple minutes of this game. Just kind of seemed like it was going to be a good Rudy game with his activity from the jump. And then also it was nice to see him find some synergy with Bones Highland in that third quarter. He did a really good job running the floor when his teammates got defensive rebounds. Bones missed him on an alley-oop, but then came right back to him on either the next possession or one right after that to get him a dunk. And then also a couple possessions later, when the Wolves were in the bonus, Bones did a really good job setting up a Gobert screen and sent a defender right into Rudy and got Rudy some free throws with it being a defensive foul. So it was, that's going to be nice to see, especially if Mike Conley continues to look like he might be starting to struggle with his battle against Father Time, at least early on in the season. But for the Wolves, 34 minutes with Rudy Gobert on, that a defensive rating of 98, a net rating of plus 13. And then the 14 minutes Rudy Gobert was off the floor, the defensive rating of 135 and a minus 12 net rating. So the offense was a little bit better with Rudy off the floor, but the defense just totally tanked. But part of the reason why, one more thing to hit on with Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
I touched on those mid-range 2s in that third quarter, but they were 5 of 21 for the game. And that just speaks to, what Rudy's able to do. And I think when you trust a guy down there to anchor the defense and create those shots that force runouts the other way, it allows guys to be more aggressive. And that's what the Wolves defense were. I think when guys dribbled too far into the paint, it allowed guys off the ball to be more aggressive, going for steals. The Wolves had forced 17 turnovers for 26 points going the other way, which was just great to see. But yeah, Naz Reid, I thought really looked like Naz Reid for the first time this season. Early in the game, again, his offense took a little bit to get there, but got to the free throw line a couple times. It just felt like his activity was way better from the start. His defensive activity, his rebounding wasn't really there the first two games, and that was there. That was evident that was there right when he checked in tonight. And then had a couple of just signature Naz Reid scores, where a guy his size, should not be able to move the way that he moves and then have some crazy finishes at the rim. And then in the fourth quarter, obviously hit that straightaway three that totally got the crowd into the game. And I think he felt the weight kind of lift off his shoulders a little bit. Just great for him to be able to have that moment given, everything that he's been through in the past couple of months. I know this city is totally behind him. So for him to have double-double in his 23 minutes tonight, 16 points and 10 rebounds, I think he's going to be really important without Ant. But most importantly, perhaps without Ant, is going to be Dante DiVincenzo, right? I think that, you go back and you look at some of his highlights when he was in New York, really found a rhythm playing as that number 2 perimeter option.
Yeah.
He was tremendous tonight. I thought he totally picked his spots well. 17 points, had just 1 turnover, 3 assists, and again, got 8 threes up, which is great for Dante. And if he's going to continue to play 37 minutes for however long Ant may be out, you're going to need him to get up as many threes as you can, especially considering that 3-point volume now has been a problem for the Timberwolves in the last couple of games. Need to get up more than 40 threes a game. Got up just 33 tonight and made just 10 of them. So Dante hopefully is going to be kind of an engine for just more 3-point offense, whether he's driving and kicking and creating for others or just getting up shots himself. And I thought his willingness to just be a shooter, it came off a screen, stopped short in the fourth quarter to draw 3 free throws, which was also really important. Again, that was also, but that was a down spot for the Wolves in the sense of free throw shooting again tonight, right? What the Timberwolves shoot tonight, they missed 9 free throws on 37 attempts, just 70%. And that comes after just shooting 71% against LA. You want to see them, shoot upper 70s, low 80s for a team as good as they are shooting the ball. So, but yeah, I think overall got to feel good about tonight. It's just hard when your best player gets hurt 3 minutes into the game, your rotations get all jacked up, your game kind of goes out the window. So it just kind of becomes just get a win by any means necessary kind of night, and the Wolves got it done tonight.
Well said there. Last one up. Let's get into what we'll be talking about tomorrow.
This is what you'll be talking about.
You kind of touched on it, but, bottom line here, Jack, even after a win, the A topic is going to be all about Anthony Edwards and that hammy. So you got the Nuggets tomorrow night. You got the Lakers Wednesday, both at home. What's the conversation look like tomorrow with him? Kind of the ripple effect with his, best and worst case scenarios, pending obviously his availability.
Yeah, I mean, we have no idea. It's nice that the Wolves only play once in between now and Saturday, I think. Twice in between now and Sunday. And probably not going to go tomorrow, I would imagine, if he couldn't play the rest of this game tonight. But yeah, I think it just becomes, how well can you weather the storm? I think if you go look at the Timberwolves schedule, they have a very soft schedule until about Thanksgiving or so. So I think you could realistically see the Timberwolves, get to 15 wins before 5 losses if they play their cards right and they come out and they play well. I think that everyone kind of has a heightened sense of urgency if Ant's not able to go. And who knows, maybe that helps get guys like Dante and Naz really into things more as those scorers that the Wolves really need them to be. And then hopefully it can build some confidence for guys like TJ Shannon, who did not play I don't think TJ played at all in the second half. We don't know if that was injury related or if that was just a coach's decision. That's not something I have information about right now, being down the hall from the press conference. But and then Jalen Clark obviously is going to see more minutes as well. So I think it just one thing to kind of monitor is how much Mike Conley plays versus Bones Highland versus maybe Rob Dillingham, who missed tonight's game with a broken nose from the shot that he took in LA. So it's, again, just another kind of tough night for Mike Conley, but it's good to see that, Bones Highland looked pretty comfortable in his 19 minutes. And it'll just be interesting to kind of see how much Chris Finch leans on Mike versus maybe tries to give some more of those minutes to Bones Highland or spread them out maybe more to Jalen Clark or TJ Shannon.
Ant tweaks the hammy early. Wolves still find their way to victory. 114-110. That's your final. 2-1 now on the year. Much love to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go follow Jack at JRBorman13. And again, we'll catch you tomorrow night. Denver Nuggets in town, 8:30 p.m. tip. Until then, signing out.